video. Now, I did already release this video, but I misspoke about some things, and I don't think the video really gave this character the justice they deserve. So, for the 50 people who saw it, now you might have noticed by now that weapons, they kinda suck. One of the biggest parts of the game, reduced to a mere stat bonus. And while I really hope the devs fix this somehow, as soon as possible, thankfully, there is a savior in disguise. Before we get into this, let me just say that none of these builds are final and probably aren't optimized. All I did was bully the overweight demon till the small number became big number. Now what makes the MC so great is of course going to be her passive diffusion. That reads, when a Lumino bonus effect is triggered, deals additional Lumino AoE damage at the target's location. Now a lot of people just mention this passive together with her ability, which basically guarantees that your diffusion will proc. But what I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, it's just how versatile this character can be, no matter how you like to play. Well, assuming you're not one of them. And you know, probably for good reasons, since this is going to be like your Lin that just goes in and presses a button and now everyone is dead. I prefer a more interactive experience. Despite having 500 hours in Warframe pretty much just playing Mesa. See, the problem here is that there is no I after these a-holes, meaning that we have to find ways to entertain ourselves or have them entertain us. So since there are multiple weapon choices at our disposal, I'm just going to go over my favorite way of playing her. Now I've been messing around with an attack build, a skill damage build, and a build using Gleam and Glimmer. For now, I'm having better results with this attack build, but there's probably better combinations to be found to make one build better than the other. I also could probably just improve this right now, but I'm running into this issue of being I'm broke, nigga, I'm broke! And let me just point out a few things like the Gleaming Polearm Wedge, which I believe is bugged since you don't get any bonuses yourself. However, when you add a partner, it will now register both of you using a polearm. Wedges like the morale one I would say are really good since they give attack, and if you have plus 18% morale, that's plus 18% more damage at full HP, which isn't hard to maintain generally speaking. Wedges in the Sphinx category I think can be extremely good as well, especially for boss runs. I also need to test both these increasing damage against the enemy type and these that say HP or shield reduce on bonus effect, as I didn't notice any difference with the HP one, so yeah. Also, although not too important, weapons do come with different percentages depending on the string you're on, which you can find by clicking these 3 dots next to the weapon. Now as for my weapon choice, I prefer using the polearm right now, and what's great is that you can either go with a more weapon damage focused build, or using something like the Wainwright Scythe to have even more diffusion and skill damage. I prefer the Siren's Kiss since it has a built-in attack speed increase, but the downside is that this attack speed will reset when using your sidearm, which doesn't really bother me all that much. So what's nice about the polearm is access to the And for all these weapons, I do use the combo changing wedges since they can be a lot of fun. For the polearm, I like using the commanding thrust, allowing us to take advantage of its massive AoE, which will not only proc a bunch of diffusion, but is also a super quick way to build combo meter, which in turn will then make our Beyblade even stronger. A few things to note is that the arrow hitbox seems to be kind of off since half of the arrowhead will miss, but in return the side hitbox is a lot bigger than it looks. If you throw your Beyblade and then use your ultimate, your Beyblade's damage will still increase, and this just becomes a really good way of having one side controlled, allowing you to make use of your other skills for any enemy that's not in range of your Beyblade, or for the elites. And this also gives you that multi-weapon feel. Also worth noting that your Beyblade takes advantage of the range increase from the commanding thrust wedge. You can also use something like the flamethrower or any weapon with a lot of hits in a short amount of time. I don't really like using ranged weapons, but just so you know, you can invert your main weapon basically and still make her work, as your ult will work with either weapon. As for wedges, combo duration just makes the combo meter run out slower, which we don't need in this build, but we do want the trigger probability. You could potentially want a lot of spike damage, since anytime an elemental trigger happens, the spike or correlated weapon damage type will also trigger 100% of the time. One thing I'm not sure of is how beneficial trigger probability is, for example on this weapon, since your skill already guarantees a trigger to proc, and I don't think it affects your other weapon, at least it doesn't show, so do correct me if I'm wrong. And I don't know if for some reason it would affect your main weapon under the effect of your ultimate, so unless you're using a ranged weapon, I would opt for something like attack or skill damage weapons, or skill duration if you're using something like the Gleam and Glimmer build. Also, other weapons like grenade launchers or even bows could be another great way of proccing diffusion. I just haven't tried them, and depending on your weapon choice, you can play around with your wedges, especially if you're messing around with the ones that change the combo, which why wouldn't you? but you might want to add things or change things like quicker charge attacks, faster combo meter gain, sliding attacks. You can basically forge your own playstyle, which is why I enjoy this character so much. Bosses like Psyche, you might have to be more cautious with your sanity, since no matter where you hit her, the diffusion proc will always be in the center and not hit her weak points. Now the best part is that we can make this even better. Now I do need to test a lot of this, so I'm just going to give you some ideas, but my guess right now is that Margie's passive is fucking broken, since in total she'll be giving you a plus 85% attack buff. And I'm not sure on the difference between something like something categorized under Lumino attack buff and attack buff, and if those scale differently. Daphne is going to be for a more weapon damage focused build, since these crit bonuses only affect weapons, or my guess is that it will also affect consonance weapons, but I'm not too sure on that. Truffle, while the resolve collides with our morale, her skill damage increase is potentially extremely good, and of course Tabitha if you want more skill damage. Fina might also be really good as well, but of course you're going to have better results buffing diffusion through skill damage and attack increases. Now my support of choice is going to be Lady Nefel, since we can basically create a meat grinder, which is so satisfying whether you're using the Beyblade or your skills. I like using her with Entropic Singularity for the LOLs, but you can use the Arc Light Bow, which will grant you one of these buffs upon critting, but you can have all the buffs active at the same time. For some reason, Hellfire doesn't use her ult 99% of the time, so I like giving her a great sword so she knocks enemies in the air, which allows for this funny interaction. You can also do this yourself if you're quick enough by launching the enemies in the air and immediately throwing your Beyblade, and you'll have enemies being sliced up in the air. Now for a couple of tricks to send you on your way, you can somewhat control the Beyblade's stopping point by pointing at uneven terrain. Some of these might be obvious, while others not so much. If there is an object behind you and you're not too far away, you can also have the Beyblade stop immediately as you throw it out. Some enemies and mission objectives can also stop it. You probably won't be needing to do this for some of these weapons or even characters, but for when the dragon guy comes out, for example, this could potentially be really good. So you can auto attack into helix jump into plunge and repeat the process to quickly cancel the animation. Or you can slide into helix jump into plunge. Now outside of fun, you can use this to quickly build combo meter. However, you can take the crouching animation cancel and implement it wherever you see fit in your weapon choice. Otherwise, you can cancel it by shooting once with your weapon. There are also moments where it might be useful to split your E skill, so if you're quick enough, you can quickly flick over and have that happen. Anyway, hope you guys find this fun and effective enough to at least give it a try, so that we can at least take advantage of all the cool animations that we otherwise wouldn't get to see. And if anyone has any improvements or knowledge to share, do let me know so that we can keep improving these kinds of builds, as well as if you come up or find any cool shit. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.